Hello and welcome to our podcast. Myself, Karthik,
And I'm Aafreen.
and today we are going to talk about four movies that we watched this weekend. So regularly sorry, Hindi karna hai, English karna hai? English? All movies
Hmm.
are English now. So English kare.
Let's do our natural self, like
Okay.
English, ठीक है?
ठीक है. So this weekend we watched four movies, and we will talk about these movies in that particular order, the order in which we saw them. And the reason we are doing a podcast on all these four movies is because we loved all of them. At different degrees. We may probably give you some kind of rating or something to tell you how much we like what movie. So we started our movie watch yesterday at 1:40 p.m. with the movie Caught Stealing. So Afrin, you want to take over, start a little bit about Caught Stealing, and then I'll jump in.
So when Karthik is in charge of planning the movies, and usually sometimes he'll just book movies because of actors. And this time I was pleasantly surprised to see that all four movies had Oscar-winning actors, directors in it. So the very first movie, the actor has won Oscar for his role as Elvis Presley in the movie Elvis, and he was like an absolute impersonification of Elvis. His voice, his
Yeah,
mannerism, everything. So in Caught Stealing, I was curious to see like what he does next. Like he was like kind of was ज़्यादा ही हो गया था, like he was just living the character in real life, so it felt
right.
as if he's not able to shake off that character, but thankfully he has shook it off, and he is in this movie called Caught Stealing, which I thought like what would it be about, and it starts with um I don't know what's his name. Is his name Austin by any chance? I think his name is
Austin
Austin.
Butler. Its name is
Yeah.
Austin Butler.
So Austin is a bartender, but is also a dedicated son who constantly keeps in touch with his mom every single day. And he wakes up from a nightmare every day almost, where he's in an accident and somebody dies. That they show constantly throughout the movie. And his girlfriend is Zoe Kravitz. Zoe again is like, an A-lister born from Lenny Kravitz, so she's like the royalty of Hollywood. She's also very enchanting, like she's kind of mesmerizing. You don't know what you like about her, but you like something about her. I
Yeah,
think it's her spunk or it's her attitude, something. So two great actors when they're on screen, it's already they have your interest, and two great actors with a good script, give you something else altogether, right? So basically, what happens is his neighbor, who's again probably an Oscar winner or a Golden Globe winner, I don't know his name. Do you know Philip नाम है क्या उसका?
mm,
The guy with the mohawk. So his neighbor guy
I
is
don't
a
remember.
guy
His
with a
name is the
mohawk.
House of Dragon guy. Is how I recognize him.
Yeah, he was also Prince Andrew. No, not Prince Andrew. Prince, the Queen's husband in The Crown.
Oh,
So he's a great, great, great actor, and he's the neighbor of Austin. And then some gundas are there to beat him up, but instead of that, they run into Austin, and Austin is just about to open the door with his neighbor's key because he has to take care of the cat or something. So he is just going to get the litter box or something like that. So he's just about to open it when these thieves or these I don't know dons come, and they're like, who are you? What are you doing? And he also throws the attitude back, and it's kind of unlike him because he's gone through a trauma of his friend dying in a car accident, and he's very dedicated son to his mom and everything. He's a good guy who has a good girlfriend. So suddenly he throws an attitude back, like, why should I tell you and all that, and they start like punching him left, right, and center. He's badly beaten and bruised, And always like the presentation is what matters, right? Like we might have seen movies like this before, but the presentation where a neighbor always opens the door and he's always like, hey, you guys are creating a ruckus, should I call the police? Every single time like
Yeah.
something happens. And then they're like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, he's an IT guy. And IT guys are being made fun of all the time. We are in IT, so I don't know why we are not considered cool by the movie people, but that's okay. So I think we are considered nerds, like, we are in our
Yeah.
computers all the time and stuff like that. So yeah, he gets beaten black and blue, and that's where the story starts. You're like, ये फालतू में फंस गया, neighbor का कुछ पंगा था, drugs ka, and he was just opening the door and now he's caught in a big and that's where the police is involved, and then there are two drug lords, probably the ones who are Jewish, who
The
take him
Jews.
home, the
They're called the
Jews.
Jews, I think. Yeah.
They take him home, strip him naked to check if he has a key to the place where the money is there or not. And the other goons, the Russians, are like just ferocious. They are like character
And
to
then
look
there is
at.
this
Like
police officer lady
the police officer,
who's
lady police
involved in
officer,
this
is involved
proceedings.
in all
Hmm.
this. Yeah. So it's basically like, how is he going to get out of this turmoil that he has gotten himself into? It is completely engaging. It is almost like shit. Like we could be in this scenario. We could get caught up in something that has nothing to do with us. So, and then there is this cat. I mean, the poor thing. The cat is a biter, so it bites everybody who touches it. And one of the goons, they literally like break the cat's leg, like unbelievable. So, yeah, and then the key is hidden somewhere. So where's the key hidden? And all those small things, like the
Hmm.
narrative, the presentation is amazing in this movie, and it makes for a very good watch. Like, it'll keep you engaged throughout.
True. Yes, so just before I start talking about the movie, I wanted to mention that Austin Butler did not win the Academy Award in 2023. In fact, it was told that he was robbed of the award. He won the Golden Globes and also
Mm.
the one more award, I don't remember. But the one who won the award was Brendan Fraser.
Oh, of course,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
so
he was my
I
favorite
think
actually.
yeah, The Whale. So Brendan Fraser won it for The Whale. You had Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, and then Bill Nye and Paul Mescal. I remember watching Banshees of Inisherin, and I thought it was beautiful as well. But even
Yeah.
I believe that Brendan Fraser deserved that award, although I loved Austin Butler in Elvis. Just wanted to clarify that, a lot of people, I just saw the comments that, people felt he was robbed, but, we don't agree with it, I think. Me and Freen
Yeah.
don't agree with it.
In the whale was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
too
Whale and the
spiritual in
performance was
some way.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Coming back to the movie, I think the first scene where I was completely taken into the movie and I was affected by the movie was when his kidney gets ruptured. And at that moment, I was like, you usually see a lot of these films where you have fights, the hero keeps getting bashed, but you don't really see consequences. You see that they're hurt, their arms are a little
And
broken or
then they become
fractured.
okay. Yeah.
But in this case, his kidney gets ruptured. He has to get rid of that kidney. There's a surgery
The best
done.
part is like the humor is so interwoven. Like he's in the hospital, and then the second day he says, "How long have I been out?" And the girlfriend says, "Oh, 2 days." And he's like, "Oh, I can't afford this hospital anymore. Like, let's just get out of here." And they just get out of there. Like that's the reality of Medicare in the US. Nobody can afford it beyond 1 or 2 days. Like I was in terrible pain the other day. And Karthik was like, let's go to urgent care. I'm like, are you mad? That'll be like $2,000. There's no way I'm going. I'd rather die.
Rather, no, that would be extreme. But coming back to the movie has these real moments interspersed with a lot of unbelievable moments, which, I mean, technically the way they're shot and everything is real, but sometimes you feel like, is it possible? Especially the ending, right? The climax feels a um, little unrealistic in some way, but it's a satisfying climax. You're satisfied by the end of it. You're happy with the end that you see. But you feel, is it possible. I don't want to go into the details. Unfortunately, it would mean spoiling the movie. But the movie has this mix of extreme realism, like New York City. I love New York City. I love Bombay. These are the two places I really love. But the way New York City is shown, you almost feel it's so dirty. You can almost feel the stink coming out of it, right? You feel
Yeah,
the
Chinatown, I think.
dirtiness literally on your face of sorts. So yes, this was a very gritty movie, thriller, very exciting, and you feel the moments, the pain when the hero is bashed, or when his stitches are removed. I literally could feel that pain. Somehow it
Staples,
felt
yeah.
so real in those moments. But it's also funny. It's also got that Tarantino-ish moments. I always call it Tarantino-ish moments, a little bit like Pulp Fiction and all. So yes, a wonderful watch. I would say we enjoyed watching it. And I mean, if we are comparing these four movies, I will say where I place it out of the four later, because I don't remember now. I have to go through each movie, but it's almost a perfect movie for me in
So,
this list.
yeah, I was wondering like how has he gotten like A-list actors with very small or insignificant roles? And I was like, the girlfriend is being played by Zoe, and the neighbor is such a small role, pivotal but small. Like, who is this director? So the director is known for Pi, which is a 7.3 rated movie, Requiem of a Dream, which is
Requiem of a
8.0.
Dream. Yeah, that's
We have
the biggest
to
film.
see it. Yeah, we have to see it. And then The Fountain 7.1, The Wrestler 7.9. So he's known for these movies, and I think that's why he got the A-listers, the Oscar winners, like highly
Yeah,
rated movies. So it is pretty cool. Even a series called Limitless, which is 8.0, we have to see that. It's
yeah.
amazing. Everything that he has done has a rating of 7 and above, and sometimes even 8. So that is pretty cool to be a director like that.
True. I completely agree with you on that. By the way, the actor who plays his neighbor is Matt Smith. He's the guy
The name
who
is
is also in our movie, our House of the Dragon movie. And I think you were talking about Queen, right? Crown,
Queen May. He
sorry.
plays the Queen's husband. And
Hmm.
this director was also a producer on The Whale. So
Oh,
he
nice.
has
Okay.
he has done some like,
Strange coincidence given that
yeah,
his
we were
actor
talking
lost to
about it.
the Wales actor. Yeah. Yeah, and
Cool.
I think one of
So
your actors who you like was also there, right? Liev Schreiber.
I don't like him. Okay.
Oh, you don't know. Okay. But I think you know him pretty well.
I know
I
him, but
realized
now
that
I
I've
know.
seen him. I realized that I've seen him
Okay.
in something, but I didn't remember him. But he was very good in the movie, actually. Uh,
He's one of the Jews. Yeah, it's a different kind of
mm,
role.
yeah, cool. Okay, let's move on to the next movie that we saw yesterday, which is Relay. Let me start about Relay because that way I get to talk a little more. So Relay is again a thriller, completely different thriller. It's like someone who's extremely meticulous in the way they do their operations. The meticulousness and the perfection and the smartness with which the whole thing is done was what stands out for me in Relay. Right. So just to give you a little bit of gist, Riz Ahmed is the character I know. What is the other girl's name? Sorry, we just want to make sure that we take the names right. Right. So do you know the girl's name,
I
Aafreen?
don't, but let me just say that I was interested in this movie simply because of Riz Ahmed, who I think is a Golden Globe winner for a movie, which was very hard hitting. I don't remember the name, but look up Riz Ahmed. He's an excellent, excellent actor. He has this inherent sadness, which kind of wants to, immediately like feel that he's
Mm.
lonely and you want to just cheer him up kind of guy. So, and the sincerity and everything that he brings to the role is amazing. So the other one was where he plays he's like suffering from drug addiction. and how he
Sound
overcomes
of
it. I
Metal is
think it was
the movie for which I think he was
Sound of Metal.
nominated. Yeah, Sound of Metal. Yeah.
And in this movie, I was immediately interested when I heard Riz Ahmed because I knew he's going to do something substantial and he's going to deliver something which touches your heart, even though, on the surface it's a movie which Liam Neeson would do, or Kevin, what's his name? अपना जैक रीचर वाला.
Mm, I don't remember.
Oh my God, मुझे
Anyways,
नाम ही याद नहीं रहते आजकल. बट एक्शन जो अच्छा करता है, जो पेरिस वाला मूवी देखा हमने रिसेंटली, लंबे बाल वाला. Are you serious? Anyway, so yeah, I watched the movie for Riz Ahmed, and the girl is actually, I think, British,
Lily James. Her
and
name is Lily James.
I think she starred in a movie called Wednesday, maybe, which was about the Beatles. कि पूरी दुनिया Beatles भूल चुकी है, and her boyfriend is the only one who remembers the songs from Beatles, and he becomes a big hit in that time, and then he confesses to it. But that's also like for Beatles fan, that's a great movie to watch, and I knew she would like come up as a Hollywood actress at some point. So it was good to see both of them together. Yeah, continue, Karthik.
Yes. So coming back to the movie, uh, so Riz Ahmed and Lily James, right? So these are the two main characters. So Riz Ahmed is a character who helps people who were whistleblowers, but they want to not continue being a whistleblower. They just want to come out of it. So Riz Ahmed helps such people negotiate with the company. So but there is a very meticulous process that he goes through for that. So there is this in-between company that works as a relay, right? So they relay whatever he's talking. So he doesn't directly talk to the people. He talks through this company who basically relays what he's saying to the other person. So he's typing to those people, and they in turn speak out to the receiver. So that's how he does this process, and he's very focused that way and extremely meticulous, as I mentioned before. And the movie starts with him helping out another person who negotiated with his company, with the CEO of the company. And we see that he makes sure that he takes it to completion. He makes sure that, the person who has done this negotiation with the CEO is safe. And now we have Lily James, the actor, who is in a similar situation and she needs his help. And we see this entire process through how he helps her and how he helps her negotiate with the CEO. And there are a lot of hurdles in between. Sam Worthington plays one of the goons. I was very surprised that it was Sam Worthington. He's the huge Avatar actor, right? So I was very surprised to see him in the movie and playing a villain's role. But and he's almost unrecognizable that way, I felt. But anyways, so we see that entire journey of him trying to help this girl and how he gets emotionally involved with her as well because she kind of flirts with him and both of them are alone in their lives. He's kind of living a lonely life. There's a backstory to him. Then he's also recently come out of alcohol and he attends this focus groups. There are other characters in the focus group that become very important in the movie. So this movie is a thriller, a very um different kind of thriller. It's not chaotic like Caught Stealing. It's more calm and composed and intelligent thriller. I personally felt the last 10 minutes of the movie uh, kind of was a letdown, slight letdown, relatively. So I would say 90% of the movie was great, but 10% of the movie was not as great as the remaining part. And that's the only negative I can point in the movie. But overall, it's a kind of movie that takes you in completely and you're involved with it and you find it really intelligent. And as Afreen said, the actors do really well. Riz Ahmed plays that almost mechanical person. He's almost like a robot because he's so meticulous. He doesn't want any emotional connect. But at the same time, you see,
Glimpses.
without him emoting, you see what he is going through in a lot of scenes. He's just lying down and he's probably thinking, and you can feel that loneliness in his life or that sadness in his life without him saying a lot of things. And that's the mark of a great actor, right? And Lily James is wonderful as well.
Yeah.
So that was my
There is
opinion of
an
the movie.
absolutely surprising end which I didn't see
And
coming. So for me, 10
yeah,
minutes
don't reveal
is
it.
I'm
Don't
not
reveal.
revealing. So I thought that it completely caught me by surprise. I
Hmm.
didn't see it coming. So I thought overall it was a deeply engaging movie. And also, again, the presentation, the way the two people talk, with the relay service in between and all that. And the Avatar guy is Kevin,
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. Yeah, he's pretty brutal. Like, you'd be scared of such a guy. Like, either he could take you by violence or just like you'd feel threatened and you didn't want to take any pangas with him. So,
Mm,
yeah, great actors all around and great script and deeply engaging movie. Must watch.
absolutely. Now we come to the third movie that we saw, which is one of the biggest blockbusters of American cinema of Hollywood. It is the film that established Steven Spielberg and took him where he is today, right? I mean, of course, he followed it up with many more big blockbusters and mixed it up with these heart-touching movies like Shawshank Redemption and many others, right? But the movie that could have broken him was the movie that made him. Everything that could go wrong went wrong with Jaws, right? They were not able to, they were shooting in such difficult circumstances. The the animal, the shark, they didn't have a proper looking shark. They didn't have the budget to create it, and they had to do it with some mechanical shark, and that's why you don't see the shark for most of the time, except for in a few scenes. That's how Steven Spielberg did it because he thought instead of showing it, we will keep it as a surprise, right?
Like a
That
horror movie where the ghost is
yeah,
seen rarely, but you're always anticipating that it
yeah,
might
the
come out any
anticipation is
moment.
what makes it even more threatening and scary. So we have heard a lot about this movie. There are a lot of classics and blockbusters that I haven't seen, and I'm glad that this one had a 50th anniversary and it got re-released in cinemas in 3D, and we could watch it in the 3D version.
Yeah.
So revisiting a classic is always exciting. I love Steven Spielberg. I've loved his movies, most of his movies. Recently, I remember a movie where it was a kind of autobiography, and I don't remember the name, but I love that movie as well. And uh, he's a genius, right? No need to, I mean, I don't have to say so much about him.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah,
he's a genius, but he's also a very decent person. I remember that he kind of like took Drew Barrymore under his wing when she was going through a phase of rebellion from her parents, and
yeah,
he said like, cover yourself up. She would flash her boobs in the David Letterman show and stuff like that, and he's like, cover yourself up. Like it kind
mm,
of it kind of showed Drew that somebody cared for her and that this was not acceptable to him. And since she looked up to him, she kind of, toned herself down. And like she has a wonderful family and everything now. So you can see like how decent he is. Apart from being a
yeah,
genius, he also got to be a decent person and not like a typical Hollywood predator that they are supposed to be. So that's very endearing to see. So Jaws, yeah, I let out a big scream in one of the scenes,
yeah,
which I
she
will
did.
not say what happens, but I literally, and then Karthik got scared because I screamed, not because of the scene, I think. But yeah, absolute a nostalgic feeling of watching something from 50 years back and still getting scared and still like, also the location, it's an island called Martha's Vineyard or Martha's Island near Massachusetts, but it's called Amity, a fake name called Amity. So the location, the people of those times, the simplicity and all that mattered was family and kids and stuff. And th it was never done before, right? Movies related to fish or something. Horror movies would have been done, but like animal from the sea, kind of scaring you. That
Yeah,
had never been done before. So Steven Spielberg just a pioneer in so many ways. So I think just to relive the magic of where it all started from, you should see Jaws. You will not be disappointed. It's a very I love Hollywood classics. I even love the musicals of those times. So I think it's an absolute must watch.
absolutely. And I was just looking at some history. By the way, The Fablemans was the movie that Steven Spielberg did last, and that was his autobiography in many ways. The budget of this movie was $9 million. It made $487 million. I mean, not even comparable, right? If you look at the return on investment, it's huge. One of the
And
things
it
that,
must be continuing to make money in the past 50
yeah,
years, right?
absolutely. Also, one of the things that is told is after watching this movie, I it seems many people stopped going to beaches for quite some time. That summer was affected. That was the impact of this movie. I mean, see, a lot of things that happens in the movies. Sometimes, the visual effects and all, of course, right? You're looking at 50 years later, right? At it 50 years later, so it's not going to match. Yet, I would say that it was still wonderful. Then we have seen some
Yeah,
much worse productions. So this was still really good, right?
yeah.
But having said that, there are so many moments in the movie which scare you, uh, which can get a scream out of you. That means that there is something in this movie which works, right? A lot of things which works. A small portion, and me and Aafreen were sitting and watching the movie. There were around 10 minutes of the movie, I would say, which felt a little drag, like it was being dragged a little bit. But I think the pacing of movies back then and the pacing of movies now is so different that it's not right to compare. We are watching two tightly knit movies back to back, and then we are watching this
Yeah.
movie where there was this period of slight leisure, right? So there are these three people who go together
Mm.
to spot the shark and kill it, right? So in this journey, I think there is a setup to this journey also. They are working together, they're talking to each other, and then there are many events that happen back to back, which creates that scary climax and fulfilling climax for you. So yes, it was. I think the best part of it was watching something which was a classic, which was this huge blockbuster, which made Steven Spielberg what he was. Watching it in theater was the most pleasurable aspect of watching this movie, apart from the fact that it was also a very entertaining and enjoyable experience for us.
Absolutely.
And now we go to probably the best movie of our evening, right? And the best reserved for the last is always sweet, right? And that is The Roses. So I think we saw the trailer of the movie and we were so into it. And I remember. So what happened yesterday was when I had already booked the movies, right? There is this Malayalam movie called Loka, which is getting a lot of wonderful reviews. And that movie was around 9:10 p.m. And our Roses was scheduled for 9:30. There was no way I was going to replace Roses. The movie that I would have thought of replacing in my head was Relay. In my head, I was like, okay, I can replace Relay out of these four. Roses, I cannot. The only option I had was I would have had to reschedule everything else. And I was too, like, it was just a day before and I didn't want to go through that. It's already difficult to schedule four movies with, making sure they don't overlap with each other. And then you have to reschedule everything is very difficult. So I decided to let go because Roses is something that the easy swap would have been Roses, Loka. But I didn't want to do that swap because I wanted to watch Roses. So, anyways, coming back to Roses, we were excited just by the trailer and
Mean,
the way the movie
I
starts.
get excited about anything with Benedict Cumberbatch because I feel like he's an actor par excellence. Like,
Absolutely.
Sherlock Holmes mein to he has done amazing, but I don't know,
Wittiness
his
is
presence
extreme,
is, yeah, his presence and his he's witty as well, I feel like, so
extremely
and
witty. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so I was immediately and the pairing of Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch, like Who would think of that? I think I don't know what is the age difference between them, but I'm pretty sure like there would be an age difference between them, which is substantial. But
Right.
she manages to look cute. She manages to look pretty. She manages to look young. She manages to look like his spouse on an equal, footing. And again, an Oscar-winning actor. So no wonder that. So she's 1974 born. Oh, which is not
Yeah.
that old, I guess. Okay, got it. And then let me see Benedict.
76 ones. He's 2 years younger to her.
2 years. Oh, so not
Hmm.
too bad. But anyways, in my mind, I think she has played only older roles. Like she even played the Queen. So in my mind,
Oh,
but
okay.
anyways, absolutely. Like you would think of like pairing Benedict with Olivia Colman, but absolutely the best pairing. The juxtaposition of two great actors again brings magic to the screen.
Yes. Let me talk about this movie. So, this movie starts with these two couple. They're a couple. They're married to each other for many years now, and they're attending a. I mean, they are in a therapy session, and the therapist asks both of them to point out 10 good qualities about each other. The first good quality that Benedict Cumberbatch points out is she is better than the wolves, or it's better to live with her than live with wolves. And she's like, how is this a compliment? It's like, yeah, I can't live with wolves, and she's better than wolves, so it is a compliment. And she says, he has arms. And she's like, how is this a compliment? Yeah, I mean, just imagine him without arms. I would have to attend to him, be his caregiver, caretaker, so it's better that way. So it starts with that, and you realize that this is a couple who have a very good sense of humor, but they are bitter towards each other, and bitter in a very sarcastic way, right? A lot of sarcasm, a lot of
The British
bit.
humor.
Yes. So it starts from there, and then it takes you back to the point where they met. So he's an art architect, she's a chef, right? They met, they fell in love, and um, 10 years later, he's the one who was working and she's the one who's taking care of the children. They have two children, and the kids are so cute and so funny in many ways. And she's actually, kind of feeding them at all times with all these sugary desserts that she makes. And Benedict Cumberbatch is like, no, please don't spoil them so bad. That's why the solution to it is that, because you love cooking so much, because you've been a chef, and they live in an island, right? So he kind of tells her, take this, he gives her a place. He tells her, start your own restaurant here. So she starts one. It's a very simple, modest restaurant, and she has like two people working with her. No one actually eats in that restaurant, right? It's not famous at all. And here
She
he's
takes
this.
a she takes a bed and bath beyond coupon, and this one of the guys says like, "Do you take coupons?" And the waiter says no, and the Olivia says, "Yes, we do." And he's like, "It's a bed bath and beyond
20%
coupon,"
discount.
and he's
And
like,
that's a
"Yeah, we
20%
take it."
discount, yeah. So
She says,
yeah,
"We
she's
take
like,
it."
okay, whatever I get, I don't care. She doesn't have to care about the money because her husband is so well-to-do, and
Well to
he's
do.
one of the big art architects working in a big firm. And he's designed this museum, a glass museum, and he's kept a ship above it, a real full-size ship, right? And there are people who have come there and are taking pictures. And then there is this hurricane. In this hurricane, there are two things that happen. Uh, the ship literally falls and breaks the museum down. And Benedict Cumberbatch loses it, and he's like shouting at the people who are taking pictures, and that becomes
Reels.
a reel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And very famous reel, and he loses his job. On the other hand, on the same day, during same night during the hurricane, thousands of people are stranded, and they on the beach, and they go to this restaurant, and one of the famous food critic also goes to this restaurant. She happens to love the food that Olivia cooks, and she gives her a glowing review, and suddenly the tables change. Benedict Cumberbatch loses his job, and here she is becoming super famous. her business is running. And so when you're watching a movie, especially a couple movie, right, you relate to the movie on a personal level. There are many things. So we also have our fights, like every other couple does, that bickering, that sarcasm. So we look at it and we kind of have fun at another couple fighting, and also we relate to some of the fights at some times. But one of the most important things that I related to do, or rather we related to, is when Cumberbatch loses his job, and the next scene you see an alarm clock ringing, and Olivia Colman, she gets up from the bed and she's like, she kisses her husband a goodbye, and he's sleeping. It's very similar to my situation right now because I left my job in 2019, and since then I've not been working, although I'm towards that job again, taking up a job again. But I took quit my job to take up filmmaking, and I made a film. I've spoken a lot about it. But during these last couple of years, at least when we have been living together, it's a similar situation. I continue to sleep and she gets up, starts cooking, starts working, and all these things, right? So I immediately laughed and she was like looking at me, oh, you relate to this.
So, let me say ki the British humor, I knew about it, but I have not really read those PG Woodhouse books and all. So, my first experience of the British humor was I went to Manchester to work, okay, and I forgot my ID card on the table, and I had to rush to the bathroom. But while returning, I had to enter via like I had to swipe a card to get in. So I told one guy like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot my ID card on the table. Could you please let me in?" And he says, "So next time, take the table with you to the bathroom." I was like, "What?" was like, oh, ये है British humor. So, I was pleasantly surprised and pleasantly, like people thought it was rude, and I thought it is just British humor. They're actually the politest people. Like even the bus driver will say, "Hey, love, take the ticket, love," and I was like, "ये क्या है? Why is the driver saying love to me so many times?" But that's how they talk, and how you doing is very common, like. So they're very nice and polite people to talk to. In fact, there is a joke about that also, that they politely took over the entire world and looted everybody to their advantage, right? The sun never set in the British Empire at one point of time. So there is
Mm.
humor of all kinds. There is just hilarious banter between both of them, and there is a cast of neighbors and friends that they have made in America who also contribute to the humor. And the Saturday Night Live girl, she is very serious and very inappropriately humorous. And obviously the architecture and the house part, like everybody's dream is to have a big house by with a good view, like looking at the ocean or something. And they achieve everything, and yet they have this disharmony between them, right? And I had the I don't know when I had so much fun. I Last time I had was probably in that Kunal Khemu movie, which he directed. But I was laughing throughout. It was too hilarious. It was such a wonderful watch. I absolutely recommend it to anybody who would get the humor. And it's an absolute must watch. Acting is great, direction is great, script is great, humor is great, everything is great about this movie. It's simply a great movie.
Absolutely. And I think the best part of the movie is that the movie starts with this couple who are going to get separated, right? And then you go into their past. And then you're like, why is this couple separating? And then you go through the motion, right? You have to go through the all those years that they went through to reach that point. And all through those years, when you're going through it, you're like, okay, but they could have salvaged the situation. So you're constantly also connected to that level, maybe because as a couple, you don't want to see people separating, right? I think one of the worst things is people separating, and all of us have fights, all of us disagree with each other. And I think in today's world, not just the couples, right? There is so much of polarization of views and opinions in general, So it's very natural for even a couple to have these disagreements in their marriage, and a lot of things that they uh, don't work actually. But like people say, you need to work on your marriage and make sure that you do the right things as often as possible and ignore the wrong things as much as possible. So that's how a marriage survives. And so you see this happening, and it reaches, although it's humor, it's funny, but it reaches a point, had this been a dramatic movie, you would have been like, why are they doing this to each other? Certain things that they do to each other. But it's done in such a funny way that you're actually laughing at it. But at the same time, you're feeling the hurt that they must be going through. Um, but yeah, the ending is satisfying, as in almost all these movies, right? That's a good end. Sometimes I don't know why I've started to think that most filmmakers don't like to end the movie, give you the satisfaction. I don't know why I think like that. I think
They leave a cliffhanger, right? Like you were asking
either
me,
a cliff, I
iske
mean,
baad, what
this
happens
movie has a
next?
cliffhanger ending. Yeah, that's true.
But not
But what
a.
I'm trying to say is, sometimes I feel that when I'm watching movies, right, and I don't know when I got this feeling recently. Was it when I was watching Department Q? We also have to talk about that, but later. But maybe when I was watching something, I was watching, and I told myself that, oh yeah, sorry. So there is this series that we watch called Boo Boo Doo. Very cute husband-wife stories, and they make it really well. I think they do a lot wonderful work in writing it. They create new characters and all. So it's a cute couple, right? It's a very cute couple, and like almost like kids, but they talk like kids and all, like cartoon. But they're so cute. And so I think recently some of their story, they have introduced a character who's kind of a villain, a lady villain, and I was feeling so bothered and so disturbed. And then I had to tell myself that why am I being bothered? I know that the God who is making this film or this series is going to care about people's emotions, right? So they won't let it go really bad. They will somehow manage it. So I think directors, filmmakers play God, right? And our God, the God that has created us, is kind of unreliable. He can do anything to us, right? Maybe our life can end in a tragedy. People might die. You might lose your job. You might not make money out of the movie that you made. But you still believe that, my God will take care of me, he will solve the things by the end of it. Right? That belief is there, even in the real God. But in movies, by the end of 3 hours, you're going to get that satisfaction. And that's why we watch movies, because it gives us that hope, right? So, but in spite of that, there are a lot of these filmmakers who try to play the real God, and they give a twisted ending, they make a sad ending to it. And so I'm always worried about if the ending is going to be satisfying or not. So this movie's ending is very satisfying, except yeah, there is a cliffhanger, but I don't want to think of the
Yeah.
cliffhanger. I want to be positive about it. Although all the websites say that it's a tragedy, but I don't want to believe it. I want to go with
I
the
think the main moral of the movie is like you can get through it, you can get through anything if you have like moral support, emotional support, like physical support, all kinds of support to, kind of go through it together. Like we have been through so much. Like
right,
we have been through a lot. Like it's it's heartbreaking sometimes, but yeah, but we are healthy, kind of healthy, not very healthy, but we are kind of healthy, and we are able to survive this, and we are even able to thrive. Like sometimes, I just feel so blessed. So when you have that
absolutely.
person who you fight day and night also sometimes, but still it's such a loving presence in your life. So that's how this movie is, and that's the morality of it, that you just need one person. For me, it's literally just one person who has kind of like been there and kind of pushed me mentally and physically to give my best and do my best and So that yeah, we'll get through this. So that's the moral of the movie, that yeah, we'll get through this. Even that cliffhanger, if that really happens, then they will get through that.
True, true. And yeah, very much like Afin said, I mean, I've always believed that that one constant person in your life is the one that really matters the most, right? And even if we fight, if we know that we are always going to, so there is this dialogue also in the movie. As long as we know that we are always going to love each other and we are always going to care for each other, the fights will happen, they'll come and go, but our love is always going to be there, and as long as you both believe in that love for each other, and like I believe that Afreen will always love me, she believes that I will always love her, and there is never that self-doubt. There is never that self-doubt. You will get through all the situations, so you have to have that belief. uh, and yeah, whatever you achieve in life, whatever you lose in life, if you don't have that constant partner, your life will feel horrible. And if you have that constant partner, your life will feel wonderful. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of kind of ending this podcast. But just before we end it, I wanted to rate my top four of these four movies because it was a competitive one. So I would give Roses number one.
Yeah.
Pure nostalgic sake, Jaws. I don't know. I will feel bad if I don't give Jaws. Actually, ideally, I should give it one, but okay, I'll give it two.
Yeah.
Um, very tough. I think three to Relay and four to Caught Stealing. I would
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
What is your um,
Yeah, I kind of agree
sequence?
because there is kind of like, even though these are very commercial movies, there is a spiritual element to it. The reason Relay wins over Caught Stealing is because of the actor. He brings so
Mm,
much of spirituality into his acting, that, you kind of, Austin doesn't have that because he doesn't have that graph of movies. He did
mm,
Elvis Presley and he did this, right? So, uh,
true.
the- like it's like when Shah Rukh Khan comes on the screen, you are thinking about all the trauma that he has faced in his life and all the happiness that he has faced in his life, all that he's achieved and all that he's pulled down for, and his kids' problem and
Mm,
everything, and then all that comes with Shah Rukh. It's just not Shah Rukh who comes on the screen. So immediately you're like, oh, I love Shah Rukh. It's like that. So that's why Relay wins over Caught Stealing. Steven Spielberg wins over Riz Ahmed, uh, and again, Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman are great, great, great actors. So Jaws doesn't have great actors. So that's why
mm,
Roses wins over Jaws. It's all there, like, in the acting and the direction and the history and the
right,
graph, the
right.
arc, everything matters.
Having said that, just before we end, one more thing. Richard Rufus was the guy who plays Hooper, the doctor, the guy who was a medical researcher, right? He's an Oscar-winning actor, actually. And I don't remember his movies because, uh, I haven't seen most of it. They
We
must be
will,
really old movies, right?
we should
But yeah,
research
we should
this.
revisit some
Yeah,
of his movies, because, or rather, not revisit, we should visit some of his movies.
yeah,
Um, and it would be interesting to watch him, and maybe we will watch Jaws again sometime later, and we would have that connection because we have seen the
yeah.
actors of those movies. So not that they are not famous actors, we haven't seen their movies is the
We
right
don't
way
know
to.
about them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't know much about them is the right way to put it. Even Ross Schreider, I think, is a famous guy. So anyways, having said that, it was a wonderful evening. We had a great time. I wish that all of you watch all these movies. The advantage that we have is we pay for one or two movies in a month and we watch 16 movies because AMC allows us to do that.
yeah.
So we are lucky. I think we would have skipped probably two or three of these movies if we had to pay from our pocket, right? Maybe Roses we would have seen. Maybe Jaws, I don't know. Or maybe not. But fortunately, we don't have to choose. We get to watch
Well,
all
the
the
year
movies.
I came to US, 2018, is when AMC theaters introduced
Oh,
A-Stub
really?
membership, where you pay only 20
Wow.
$25 per month, and then you can watch three movies every week, and now it's become four movies every week. So I didn't come to
Wow.
US because they didn't have this membership. But as soon as I landed, they're like, "Oh, Afreen's here in US. We should have this membership for her. Otherwise, how will she keep up with the record of her entire life of watching multiple movies in every weekend?" So the everything aligned. It was divine calling that I came here. So I'm happy with A Stub
And
membership.
you know, it is funny because in a way, because sometimes when I'm booking these movies, right, except for the new ones, we have almost watched all the movies that are there in that list, you know. Now, I think this week had a lot of movies. So, you know, like Param Sundari didn't release in the theater that we go to. So maybe next week, if it's there, we can catch it. The
If
Malayalam
it's
movie. So,
good.
yeah, if it's good. And Malayalam movie, since it's good,
Yeah.
you know, we can probably
The
catch it next
place
week.
we go to has so many things to do, like from Home Goods, Home Depot to this South Indian restaurant called Namaste Express. We enjoy the food. There is a Pakistani restaurant which serves amazing Bihari chicken, and we are all like kind of friends with them. So we go and talk a little bit, chat a little bit. So it's not as if we're just going and we have nothing to talk to. One of my colleagues' wife works in Home Goods, so I run into her sometimes. So. And I don't know, people are amazing. And we even have made a friend in the theater who doesn't check our ID anymore. He's like, we know
Michael.
you, Michael. And so shout out to Michael at AMC Highwoods. He's so cool. And he's like, every time we go, he's like, nice to see you guys. And we're like, nice to see you, Michael. And it's just nice to know some people around that area and so many things to do. Like, if by any, I was telling Karthik that if I had lived in an apartment over there on rent, I would have never thought of buying a home ever because it is so close to so many cool places. So, but
Right.
anyways, yeah, we love going there. If I have to watch even one or two movies and then spend the rest of the time shopping and just looking around, I would love to still go there.
True, true that. So, on that note, have a great rest of the day and please watch our podcast. We do podcasts for movies mainly and web series. We recommend good movies to you guys. And also, you know, there are other things that we have done like talk about our vacations, talk about Switzerland and Paris and London, I think. Yeah. And Afrin has toured our home in one of the
Yes.
videos, and the Christmas decorations during Christmas. Christmas is coming again.
Insta handle is filmy underscore couple underscore review. So go and follow us there. So you will keep getting updates on Instagram that we have a new review out.
Yes, and also Afrin Karim, where she puts out just Afrin Karim or Afrin.Karim?
Afrin.Kareem.
Afrin.Karim, where she puts out a lot of videos of what we do. Like we recently went to this Van Gogh immersive experience. We can probably do a podcast on that as well. You know, it was that interesting. We can talk a
Yeah,
lot about it.
yeah, yeah.
And then we went to A.R. Rahman concert. So many of the things that we do, we share it. Um, I mean, honestly speaking, we're not bragging, oh, we are doing this and that. We're just sharing the joy we get out of these experiences. And we are hoping that you also, if you are the kind of person who is looking out to have a good time, you know, these are some of the things you can also do. So it's kind of a recommendation of things that we do and we want you to follow it, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of like 20, 30 years, when you look back, you will remember these experiences.
mm,
You
exactly.
will find the difference in how you felt living in an apartment as to as in contrast to living in a house. Like we never knew, right? So we are
Mm,
experiencing this in our 40s, but we are still grateful and we went to Van Gogh experience because we have been to many museums in Europe and we didn't always enjoy it. But this is a different take of being in a museum. We went to Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, which is close by, like 40 minutes away. And that was, again, it's an education and it's also an experience. And the way they give a modern spin to it, where the paintings start moving and, you learn a little bit about these things, right?
yeah.
And even though we don't know, like the series Money Heist, where the mask is supposed to be the Salvador Dali mask. So, you have these references that will pass you by. If you
Right.
don't experience these things, you will not understand what two people are talking. It'll go above your head because you don't have these references and these experiences. When we went to Van Gogh immersive experience, he was like, there are two free paintings that you can take, a poster. And I didn't like the one that they had, which was of Van Gogh himself. I wanted the Starry Nights, which is the only one I knew. And there was another similar looking one, and he said it's Starry Nights on the Rogue. And I was like, Rogue? Okay. And it was Rhone. So we didn't even know that. So it even, it's an education of another kind. You not only need to learn about IT, but you also need to kind of like educate yourself in many other ways, whether it's the arts or uh, sports or entertainment and education, history, geography. Everything matters. Everything becomes your personality. It's not just one thing.
Mhm.
You cannot be one
Yeah.
dimensional. You have to be multi-dimensional.
Yeah. And whether, okay, once again, different people might have different opinions. And
Yeah, I don't know anything
while,
about cricket and I don't
yeah,
care to spend time on cricket, but I'm just saying like it will give you a better understanding of the world. Like many times I'll ask Karthik like did you understand something, and I will have that reference and he will not, or it may happen the other way around as well.
right.
So it just gives you a better understanding and better enjoyment of the world because you
Absolutely.
understand more of the world.
And it is fun. So people just looking
Yeah.
for fun will also enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
I look at the fun aspect of it. For me, honestly speaking, art is very, um, there is so
Matter.
much of art, right? And there is so
Yeah.
much of
But
things
these are
that
the few
it,
famous ones, na Karthik? These are like
I
the
know, but I'm not, for me personally, I'm okay to not know it. Personally, I'm okay to not know it. But I
but
had
the
fun.
experience was great, right?
Yeah, I
It's
enjoyed
not
the
whether
experience.
you
That's
know
why
or
I'm
you
saying
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
So I'm saying that, maybe one of our viewers is the kind of person who likes to be educated. So they would be like, okay, let me go to Van Gogh. And there is another person who might be saying, I don't care about
Yeah, but it's
education.
a sensory
But
experience.
for
Yeah.
them, my experience who
Yeah.
I'm similar to that kind of viewer, but I also enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For me, it was the fun aspect of it, the immersiveness of it,
Yeah, it's a
the
sensory
feeling of
experience
being a
where you're,
part of
yeah.
those paintings, right? Just getting into those paintings and seeing that projection all around you and you getting blended into it. And then that virtual reality experience when you literally
Yeah, that
are going
is.
into the painting and walking through it. So so I'm the kind of person who's going to look for these things which excite me. So it's got both, right? It's got people who love art or would like to educate themselves about art. And also it's like for people who just enjoy these fun parts of it. So it's there for both. Sorry, this was not supposed to be a review of the Van Gogh, but maybe I can add that also, or maybe
Yeah,
cut
I
out that
did.
portion and keep it separately. But
Yeah.
having said that, so please go to Afreen's Instagram channel, afreen.kareem, filmy_couple_review, and our YouTube channel. Obviously, you're aware of it. And watch my movie Karma Strikes, which is on
And
Z
YouTube.
Cinema Entertainment Channel and Z5 app as well. So, and continue to subscribe and follow us and like, and please leave your comments. It's very motivating when you leave comments. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karthik.